Students, in the last class we discussed about the algae and different types of algae and the functions of the algae. Right? Coming to this class, we are going to discuss about the bryophytes. See, the very first type of plants are algae, and coming to the next type of plants are the bryophytes. See, the name indicates bryo. See, the name indicates here which have the capacity to survive within the water and half of the life cycle survive on the surface of the land. See, very simple. The organisms means the bryophytes which have the capacity to survive within the water and the surface of the land. So these kind of organisms are called as amphibian organisms. See, these are the plants, so these are called amphibian plants. So bryophytes are there. Bryophytes here, the word first coined by the Barham, the scientist name is the Barham, right? So that is about that initial term, means the term first coined by the Barham, right? After that, see, we know the characteristic features of the bryophytes. These are the non-vascular plants. Means within these plants there is no xylem and there is no fluid. Within these plants there is no xylem and there is no fluid. Because these plants are contact with the water, then there is no requirement of the xylem and the fluid. There is no requirement of the xylem and the fluid. So here, what I am trying to tell, whatever these plants are there, within these plants, okay, the xylem and the fluid is absent, and see, majority of these plants, okay, maximum lifespan is contact with the water. Contact with the water. See, if these plants are contact with the water, then there is no requirement of the xylem and the phloem. If the water is absorbed by the plant, that will be supporting for the transportation of minerals and transportation of the food materials. So these are the plants, non-vascular plants. The first non-vascular plants are algae, and these are the second non-vascular plants, and these are embryophytes. Embryophytic or embryophytes means which have the capacity to form the embryo. Which have the capacity to form the embryo. Whatever that male and female gametes are there, the male and female gametes forms the embryo. Right? See, these are the first embryophytes. These are the first embryophytes. After that, these are archegonids. Archegonids means we know whatever that the male or female reproductive organs are there, especially here the female reproductive organs, right? See, the egg cells which are covered by multicellular jacketed systems. Multicellular jacketed systems, right? So, which are covered by the multicellular jacketed systems means the egg cells which are covered by the multicellular jacketed systems. These are nothing but archegonids. Okay, so archegonids, these are the bryophytes, right? The bryophytes are the archegonids, and these are second cryptograms. Remember, cryptograms means non-flowering plants. Cryptograms means these are non-flowering plants, right? So that is about that characteristic features of the bryophytes, and totally 960 genus, 960 genus are present. 2,400 species are present within the bryophytes. 9,600 genus are there. 2,400 species are present. Right? And these are the amphibian plants. These are the amphibian plants. These are the amphibian plants, right? And study of bryophytes is called as bryology. Study of bryophytes is called as bryology, right? And see, which are majorly supporting for the pedogenesis process. Pedogenesis is nothing but the formation of soil. Soil formation is called as pedogenesis. Just imagine all of you, whenever that earth was evolved, that time upon the surface of the earth there is no soil. The earth is completely covered by the huge rocks. That rock slowly degraded and finally forms the soil. Lack of soil, initially life evolved within the water. Initially life was evolved within the water. Later, from water to land, the life occupies. See, even the plants, even the organisms, even the bacteria, right, initially evolved within the water, right? So here, the study of bryophytes is called as bryology, and pedogenesis is nothing but soil formation from the bedrocks. Soil formation from the bedrocks. See, the lichens and mosses plays a very crucial role for the pedogenesis process. Say these are the plants, this is the rock. So upon the surface of the rock, how the plants are survived. Remember, whatever that lichens in the last chapter we discussed within the biological classification, we discussed lichens are there, these are the dual organisms, right? And some of the mosses are there, these are the moss plants, right? So the mosses and the lichens, which have the capacity to survive on the surface of the rock. Due to the reason, these organisms have the capacity to absorb the water from the atmosphere. These organisms have the capacity to absorb the water from the atmosphere, right? And whatever the rhizoids-like structures or root-like structures are present, these root-like structures produces some of the acids, and these acids are act on the rock. Okay, then the rock is melted. Presence of acidic substances. Very slowly the rock's degradation takes place. Very slowly the rock degradation takes place. See, up to the process is taken many years, many hundreds of years. Finally, here soil formation takes place because by the rock very fine degradation or very minute degradation process. See, the rocks are converted into the fine powder. The powder is nothing but here soil. So here lichens and the mosses plays a crucial role for the pedogenesis. And that pedogenesis is supporting for the plant succession. Plant succession is nothing but formation of higher plants from the lower plants. Remember, these are the initial plants which supports to form the land or supports to form soil. So once the soil is there, then the plants, the plant succeeded from water to land, or the plants occupies from water to land, right? So this is about that plant succession. Plant succession is nothing but formation of higher plants from the lower plants, right? See, that is about that plant succession process. And actually is why bryophytes are different from algae. See, the concept is very easy here. Why the bryophytes are different from algae. See here, algae which are grown in water, bryophytes also grown in water. Remember, complete life cycle of algae occurs within the water, but the bryophytes not like that. Within the bryophytes, majority of the portion within the water, but certain portion is definitely on the surface of the land. Means here the two regions are there. One is the water region, other one is the soil region, right? So here the bryophytes are different from the algae. In the algae, thallus is present. Only thallus is present. Thallus means undifferentiated thallus, means undifferentiated cell mass. We can't differentiate the root-like structure, root structure, stem structure, and the leaf structure. But within the bryophytes, there is an advanced thallus is present. Means there is a root-like structure. This is very close to the root, and there is a stem-like structure very close to the stem, and there is a leaf-like structures are present. So whatever the bryophytes are there, the bryophytes contains the thallus is advanced thallus. Thallus is the advanced thallus, right? So here bryophytes which forms the root-like structures, which are called as rhizoids. These are not called roots. These are called as rhizoids, right? And in some of the bryophytes which are having the stem-like structures, which are called as coiloids. The stem-like structures are called as coiloids. And leaf-like structures are there, which are called as phylloids. Very simple. there is a root-like structures, stem-like structures, and leaf-like structures are present, right? So here the root-like structures are called as rhizoids. Remember, the rhizoids are unicellular. Unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular or multicellular. Rhizoids in certain plants, unicellular. In certain plants, multicellular. Right? So this is about that one of the plant, and within these plants, these are the rhizoids. Right? This one is the multicellular. This one is the multicellular. In certain cases, the rhizoids are unicellular. Only one cell is supporting for the formation of the rhizoids. So the rhizoids are made up of the single cells. These are unicellular. Many number of cells are there, multicellular, right? And these are leaf-like structures. The leaf-like structures are called as phylloids. The leaf-like structures are called as phylloids. So this is a stem-like structure. This one is called as phylloids. This one is called as phylloids. So this is a very different one. We discuss about this one, capsule. This structure is called as capsule, right? So this is about the bryophytes, and within the bryophytes there is a thallus structure is there, but within the bryophytes contains the thallus is advanced thallus, right? That is the reason why bryophytes are different from the algae. And remember, the bryophytes also, these are, okay, we know the very first one we discussed, these are embryophytic. Algae, these are not, algae are not the embryophytic, but the bryophytes are embryophytic organisms, right? So this is also one of the differences. And next we will discuss about that next concept, right? Coming to the next one, within the bryophytes, there is two stages are there. We already discussed. Any plant life cycle, majorly two stages are present. One of the stages is called as gametophyte stage. Other one is called as sporophyte stage. See, we know whatever the higher plants are there, what we are saying, all the higher plants, right? Okay, the plant stage is the sporophyte stage. The plant stage is the sporophyte stage. The sporophyte stage produces the gametophytes. The sporophytes produces the gametophytes. Means pollen grains are produced. These are nothing but gametophytes. Ovules are produced. That is also nothing but the gametophyte. See, whatever the flowers are gametophytes. The flowers are gametophytes, especially which are involved in the sexual reproduction process, right? Which are gametophytes. So here also, within the lower plants, right? Here also there is a sporophyte stage is there, gametophyte stage is there. Sporophyte stage is there, gametophyte stage is there. Remember, within the higher plants, sporophyte is the dominant one. Means plant stage is the dominant one because it's having the chlorophyll performs the photosynthesis. But within the lower plants, the case is reverse. Within the lower plants, the case is reverse. Okay, within the lower plants, gametophyte is the dominant one. Gametophyte is the dominant one because the gametophyte here having the chlorophyll. Which one having chlorophyll? That one is dominant. So here, gametophyte having the chlorophyll. Gametophyte having the chlorophyll. Right? This is a dominant one. So here, there is a gametophyte is there in the bryophytes. The stage is the end stage. This is the dominant stage. This is the dominant stage. So why this one is the dominant stage? Because it's having the chlorophyll, it performs the photosynthesis and synthesizes the food material. Synthesizes the food material and absorbs the water and minerals from the soil. And absorbs the water and minerals from the soil. Because these are the structures. These are the structures. Means these are the bryophytes which are having rhizoids-like structures. That rhizoids-like structures absorbs the water and minerals from the soil. And whatever the green color part is there, the green color part performs the photosynthesis. And this is an independent stage which is not depends on any other one. The gametophyte stage is the independent stage. And this one is the prostate. Prostate means flat structure. Prostate means flat structure. For suppose this is one of the flat structure, right? The flat structure, this is nothing but one of the gametophyte. This is one of the gametophyte. That gametophyte, okay, this is one of the gametophyte structure. Right? That gametophyte having the flat structure. Flat is nothing but prostate, and it's having the chlorophyll. It's having the chlorophyll. Absorbs the sunlight, involved in the photosynthesis process, and it contains the rhizoid-like structures. It contains the rhizoid-like structures. Absorbs the nutrients. Absorbs the nutrients from the soil, and absorbs the water, soil from the soil. Right? So that is about the gametophyte. And remember, the gametophyte state is end state, and it produces the antheridium and the archegonium. Antheridium and the archegonium. Antheridium means, okay, this is one of the reproductive organ, sexual reproductive organ. It produces the male gametes. Produces the male gametes. And archegonium, this is one of the female reproductive organ. Produces the egg cell. Produces the egg cell. Right? So this is one of the antheridium. This is one of the archegonium. This is responsible for the male gametes production. This is responsible for the female reproductive, female cells production. Female reproductive cells production. Right? And sporophyte stage. See, this is the sporophyte stage. This is the sporophyte stage. The sporophyte stage is having food stage, that is nothing but rhizoids contain part, right? And there is a leaf-like structures are there, phylloids. Stem-like structure is present. The stem-like structure is called as seta, and there is a capsule is also present. There is a capsule is also present. So sporophyte stage is the 2N stage. Sporophyte stage is the 2N stage. Food is present, seta is present, phylloids are present, capsule, the capsule is present, right? So these are the structures are present. And remember, sporophyte is dependent one. Sporophyte is not a dominant one. Sporophyte is the dependent. Sporophyte is the dependent. So how the sporophyte is dependent? Because whatever that rhizoids like structures are there, which are penetrated like this, right? And see, this is the seta structure. This is the seta structure, and this is the capsule structure. This is the capsule structure, and these are the leaf-like structures. These are the leaf-like structures. It's having the chlorophyll. It's having the chlorophyll. Performs the photosynthesis. But here, the sporophyte rhizoids are penetrated into gametophyte. The sporophyte rhizoids are penetrated into. These are the rhizoids. These rhizoids are not penetrated into soil. That rhizoids are penetrated into gametophyte. That rhizoids are penetrated into gametophyte. For the water purpose, for the minerals purpose, for the water purpose, for the mineral purpose, sporophyte depends on gametophyte. Sporophyte depends on gametophyte. So I already said within the lower plants, gametophyte is dominant one because it's directly absorbs the water minerals from the soil. Right? And whatever the sporophyte is the dependent one. Sporophyte is the dependent one. And within the higher plants, what we have seen all these plants, within the higher plants, right? Sporophyte is the dominant one. Gametophyte is the dependent one. We know flowers are dependent on plant. Flowers are dependent on plant. Plant is the sporophyte. Flower is the gametophyte. Right? But in lower plants, not like that. Here gametophyte is the dominant one. Gametophyte is the dominant one. The sporophyte is dependent one. This one is depends on. The sporophyte is depends on gametophyte. So that is just introduction. That is the difference between the stages of the bryophytes. So within the bryophytes, there is two stages are there. One of the stages is called as gametophyte, other one is called as sporophyte. These are the stages are present, right? And next one, I like to explain about the sexual reproduction process. I'll explain now.